January of 2020, I went tubing at Soldier Hollow with my husband, daughter, and grandson. And it was very slick and very fast. And on about our second or third run, my husband and I were hanging onto each other's tubes. We went down the hill and I was thinking, man, this is fast. I hope we can stop. And we had a freak accident at the bottom of the hill. We separated. This is what I'm told, I don't really remember. And my tube came to a very hard stop, which sent me airborne. And I broke my fall with my head and slid for a while and landed probably 15 yards from my tube. And I was not out cold, but I sat up. And a guy came running over saying, "Are you okay?" And I just said, "No." And they put me on a snowmobile and took me down to their medic clinic. They had me in a wheelchair and I said, I can't sit here. And I laid down on the gurney and passed out. And I was in and out of consciousness for about 30 minutes. And they took me by ambulance to the hospital and they did a CT scan to see if I broke my neck or had a brain bleed. And I had neither, so they sent me home and said, well, call the doctor if you have a headache in a week. And here I am 2.5 years later, still learning to live with a TBI.
How did that injury influence your day?
Wished I could talk about it without crying, but 2.5 years later, it's hard to talk about. I was in bed most of 2020. I started receiving help about a week later, and I went every day I had appointments, different kinds of therapies and clinics, concussion clinic, brain rehab, chiropractic, primary care. I learned that, well, my vision was really messed up. I had no peripheral vision. I couldn't focus near or far, so I just kept my eyes closed because everything was just too sensitive anyway. I mean, these lights bother me. And for a long time, it's like if we drove at night, I was a passenger, of course, it's like I didn't even have eyelids or sunglasses, and I would drive with a sweatshirt over my head to block out all the light. And I tested early dementia. I tested hypertension. My blood pressure was high, my pulse was high. I couldn't smell out of my right nostril. I had tinnitus, still have tinnitus ringing in my ears, it's permanent. I had a hard time forming sentences, my memory was shot. I fell a lot because my equilibrium was so off. My digestive system, my GI tract was completely whacked and tons of inflammation. I looked in the mirror the next morning and my face was swollen and like my whole body swelled up. And I just laid in bed, breathing and trying not to panic constantly because my autonomic nervous system was so messed up. I lived in a constant state of panic and anxiety.
What are the different solutions we tried?
I've had physical therapy, which I did for 1.5 years, and it was excellent. A lot of cognitive work, a lot of trying to line my left brain, right brain with really weird looking exercises. I did find someone a week later who had a handheld light, and she worked on me every day. And it was like, my brain felt like it was on fire. And she put the light on me and it's like everything would calm down for a little while. And I'd get a couple hours of relief. But I mean, my problems were so much bigger than a handheld light. And then my mother had a medical issue and she needed help day and night, and I physically could not help her. And so I put the word out that I needed help from my mom, and a woman named Jennifer answered. And I met with Jennifer when she met my mom for the first time, and I told her I need help because I've got a brain injury and my body's racked and I I can't do this right now. And she said, my husband has been working with traumatic brain injury for 25 years, and he's got lasers and infrared lights, and you should probably talk with him, which I don't think I did for months. And then finally I called him 13 months after my injury, and I went to his house and I just sat on his couch and started bawling. I said, I've been released from physical therapy, I've graduated from brain camp, and I'm completely dysfunctional. I mean, this can't be my life. I'm not capable of anything. I don't even think I was driving then. I had no stamina, no energy. If I could be out of bed for 4 hours, that was a big day. And so I was always measuring what needed to be done, how much energy I had, and pick and choose what I can do that day. And I sat on his couch and I said, David, I feel like I have a brick in my head, and it is in the way of everything. It's in the way of functioning, reasoning, speech, vision, hearing, my emotions. I have a brick in my head. It's heavy. And he said, start coming to my house and we'll work together. And he started using lights on me, and I could feel the brick shrinking. And this is 13 months after my injury. And it was amazing. It was a miracle. I started driving. My energy was better. And then David got these fabulous, I call them red beds. And I started coming here 2 to 3 days a week. And people started saying to me, like, you're different. Like, your personality's coming back. You've got a sense of humor. And my energy was better, and I could be more social, and I could be in a place where there were people and lights and noise and be able to handle it. And it's been a miracle that I needed, because I was just a head injury with legs for a really long time. I still am, because I have some permanent damage, but I come here and it gets me balanced out again for a few more days and gets me going in the direction I need to be in. I have to come, because this is my saving grace.
Take me for a moment when you knew that this would work.
My energy and the weight in my head. I'm assuming the feeling of a brick was swelling, brain swelling. And when that was going back, my vision got better. In 4 months, I went from no peripheral vision to 70%. And I haven't had it checked since, but I think it's good. I could smell again. My heart rate got better. My blood pressure got better. Cognition, sentence structure, everything started coming back. But energy was big. I mean, I spent 20 to 21 hours a day in bed out of 24 hours. And when I could get up and stay up longer and get more done and be a little more productive, because the floor falls out and you just lay there feeling things you've never felt before. I mean, there's no words to describe a brain injury. Like, I can't tell you. I can say it feels like your whole body fell asleep, but that's not really how it feels. I just don't know how to describe it so it makes sense to someone else, because it's not describable. And the brain is such a mystery. It's amazing. We know so much about knees and elbows and the heart and the lungs and the kidneys, but the brain is a mystery, which is really frustrating when you're just really screwed up. And I just felt like the healing was happening as I increased my exposure to near-infrared light, for sure.
What would you say to someone that's in a similar situation like you? What would be your recommendation?
Start this as soon as you can. I mean, I've spent so much money on medication and therapies and clinics, And they can help with certain things, but this is helping with everything. This is going into the cellular level and restoring health and restoring vitality. Where if I'm going to EMDR therapy, we're working on my PTSD. If I go to physical therapy, we're working on my balance. You know, if I go to brain camp, I'm learning to get my left and right brain working together, but this is healing everything. And it makes your skin look really good too.